Grand evening. Back with another video. I haven't been on this channel for a very long time. So today, um, basically, we're going to be looking at what's taking place in the world. And it's a sad day for America. It really is. Um, every day it gets closer and closer. Every day we're getting closer and closer to that mark. The mark. And let's see something here. I'm trying to get to my destination. Okay, cool. So yeah, the stuff that's going on in this world, it's mind battling. Um, you know, watching everything fall apart, everybody fighting, bickering with one another. All I could do is run the clip. Anyway, welcome to the Twilight Zone. If you here, it's not by mistake. Thank you for tuning. For those who are going to tune in along the way, share, like the video, share the video, put me in the algorithm. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. I had a crazy weekend. I sure did. This weekend was a bit scary for me. Let's get into the clips. I need to get into the clips. Let's go. Let's get into the scary clips once and for all. What are we even watching? What are we even watching, y'all? What are we even watching? I would have to say it's the end of the old time, the end of the world as you know it. It could be either two things: the end and a new beginning, and certain things are being washed. This is happening worldwide, y'all. Worldwide, period. And it's given like the video, share the video, please and thank you. It's given if the world is ending, in the things that I am seeing with people, it just makes me disgust. I'm happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Listen, some gotta come, some gotta go, y'all. Plus the war. Plus the war. We haven't even gotten to the war yet. Okay. Let's talk about this war. It's crazy.
Bit of a different story is we're going to have more severe weather back as we're going to see the jet stream guide these storms right across the Great Lakes and right through the Northeast. We're going to be tapping into a ton of moisture out out there. Dew points in the middle 70s. So there is plenty of available storm energy for that cold front, warm front to tap into. And as a result, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, chances for showers and storms all 3 days. Multi-day severe weather event. A 3 out of 5 in terms of that severe storm threat across the western Great Lakes as we kick things off, unfortunately, on a very, very active note. In the morning time, you may see a few showers around, but everything really starts to explode during the second half of the day. And you'll notice how it all rolls into the Ohio.
I swear, I'm here, but I don't even feel here.
Right now, one patch of the Pacific.
Super El Nino, boom. They talked about that like the beginning of January. Super El Nino, I reported on that. It was coming, and it's just now getting started. Bro, we're not even talking about the winter. We're not even talking about the winter, y'all. El Nino is catching wreck. Like the video, share the video, please, and thank you. I really appreciate it. El Nino is catching wreck. Can you imagine what El Nino is getting ready to destroy? And what it's already destroying. But yo, imagine that plus war. Plus the war, y'all. People, I can't even believe. 1 in a million get it. 1 in a million get it. I'm telling y'all right now. This right here.
The Pacific Ocean is warming up, and that same patch of warm water is about to help decide the price of your morning coffee, whether harvests fail on 3 separate continents, and which cities spend the winter underwater. This is a Super El Nino, and this year's could be one of the strongest ever recorded, with ocean temperatures forecast to climb more than 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit above normal.
Baby.
You won't see it happen. There are no clouds to point at, no single storm on the evening news. Just a quiet warming, far out at sea, that reorganizes the weather of billions of people over the year that follows. In our previous chapter, we broke down what a Super El Nino actually is, and how a shift in one ocean can hijack the weather of the entire planet. That was the science. This is the part that lands closer to home, because El Nino does not spread its damage evenly. It picks winners and losers, country by country, and the map of who suffers is stranger and far more unfair than you would ever guess. And it reaches beyond any single country. A Super El Nino releases so much stored ocean heat into the sky that it can shove the entire planet's temperature to a new record high, on top of a world that is already the warmest it has ever been. This is a local ocean event with a global fever. Some nations are about to drown. Others will crack and burn under a drought that refuses to break. A few will barely feel a thing, and 1 or 2 might even come out ahead. The real question is not whether the Super El Nino will change the world. It's where the blow lands hardest, who pays the price, and whether anyone is ready. So let's follow the damage and see where it lands.
Crazy work.
Start with the engine quickly, because everything downstream depends on it. Normally steady winds along the equator act like a hand holding a mound of warm water pinned against the western side of the Pacific.
This is crazy stuff, y'all. And I'm just here trying to intake this. I'm trying to dissect this. Let's be clear. I'm trying to dissect this, unpack this. Do y'all not know how bad and dangerous this is? Do y'all have any idea how dangerous this right here is? Nah, I don't think so. Like the video, share the video. It's just too much for me. Sometimes I sit here and do this, and it takes a lot of energy. It really does. Because to get it here first, on any one of my channels, wherever I'm at, wherever we pop it in, but this is going to have to be the Twilight Zone. Like the video, share the video, please, and thank you. We would have to call this The Twilight Zone. Hello? Hello? The Twilight Zone. What we even doing, y'all? Like, cause what? Look, listen to this. Listen to this. Just
Pacific
listen.
over near Indonesia.
They
Think
got
of a
it.
bathtub
got
tilted
it
so
good.
all the warm water gathers at one end. During El Nino, that hand simply lets go. The winds fade, the water sloshes back east toward the Americas, and a vast pool of tropical heat ends up sitting in the wrong place. From that one displacement, the world splits in two. One half of the tropics is handed far too much rain. The other half is robbed of it. A planet-sized seesaw with the Pacific
Crazy,
as
y'all.
its pivot. That is where the trouble
Crazy.
begins, because the ocean never keeps its heat to
Crazy.
itself. All that warmth pours up into the sky and drags the planet's rain clouds along with it. The great towers of tropical rainfall, which normally sit over Southeast Asia, pack up and slide thousands of miles east out over the open Pacific.
This is crazy.
And this year, the board is tilted
Crazy.
further than usual. The Pacific was already running feverishly warm before the tipping began. So this El Nino is stacking its heat on top of an ocean primed to overreact. A bigger opening shove means the dominoes fall harder and faster than they would in a gentle year. And this is the idea that powers everything that follows. Move the rain and you don't just change the weather in one spot. You start a chain reaction. Line up a row of dominoes stretching all the way around the globe. The first one tips over in the middle of the Pacific, knocks into the next and the next, until the fall reaches countries that never feel a single drop of El Nino's rain directly.
Crazy.
Scientists call these long-distance links teleconnections. You could just call it the domino effect. One ocean tipping the whole board, and the first domino falls right where El Nino is born. That warm water reaches the coast of Peru and Ecuador first, and it lands on one of the richest fishing grounds on Earth. Normally, cold water wells up here from the deep, loaded with nutrients, feeding titanic schools of anchovy. Peru pulls more of these little fish from the sea
crazy,
than
y'all.
almost anyone alive, and grinds most of them into fish meal, the protein that feeds farmed fish, chickens, and pigs across the world. The warm phase
And that's, that's it. That's it, because the more I start moving, the more I get to thinking. I'm just like, and then the next, we going to go through the timelines as it is. Excuse me. we going to go through the timelines as it is. And when we go through the timelines, you are automatically going to see the cause of effect. The cause of effect is... It's really bad, y'all. So bad. That hasn't happened in a while. It's crazy, y'all. I seen that cold ice in Germany. This is Poland. Everything is happening around the same time. If you notice, you pay attention to the dates. Very significant. Very significant. Add that up. I'm trying to add it up in my head, but crazy work. China, or on July 15, 2026. How significant is that? I'm just saying though, how significant is that all these events will be happening around the same day, probably even the same time. That is so significant. Just saying though, people are burning, the earth is burning, uh, the trees are burning, everything is flooding. God, sometimes I want to I just can't wait. I just can't wait. Like, you know, it gotta come down. It gotta come down one way or another. And I've been dealing with this for a very long time. You know, as far as like everything that's been happening. And then the celestial, the celestial energy is just growing and growing and growing and growing. It's not a game. You know what I'm saying? It's not a game. Wait. Let's take it from the beginning. July 15th. We started with Italy. That's nice, baby. Poland. What was that? Republic 5. China 6. Canada 7. Texas 8. Mexico. Wait, was it Texas, Mexico? 9 already.
¿Cómo se les ocurre?
Whatever. Geneva. 11. Russia 12. Russia 12. It's crazy. 12 countries. Major events happening, including America. Okay? Is giving what is given in the world as you know it, and of the world, one and only worlds, right? Multi-universes are being affected.
Is it press?
Yep.
13. Well,
Holy shit.
so that's crazy word. Missouri.
People are brave. Oh my god, Petra.
Canada. China. Crazy. Look at China on the 10th. That's the 10th. Hey! Pay attention to the dates. Man, look at China. Philippines, bro. Typhoon.
এগুলা
এগুলো আসলে যে ভয়াবহ অবস্থা আছে
Guatemala. Child. It is crazy. And it's given that America is soon to be looking like a third world country. We cannot make this stuff up, y'all. I'm just saying though. It's very much so given. Fire.
to hurry up here.
This
Like,
fire worked its way all the way up. All the way up. All the way up. Which reminds me of Yellowstone. Imagine Yellowstone. If that Canada fire can travel across, imagine Yellowstone smoking thousands of miles. Okay? Flame just in the air everywhere. And I'm telling you, I hate to say stuff because every time I say something, it be, well.
seriously, we're encased in flames.
People are stuck. They can't even see unless it's happening to you. We ain't even get into the war. The crops. And with this weather, we're gonna be losing a lot of crops. The way it's looking, y'all, like I can't even believe
If one more person in the comments says, it's called summer, I'm going to pop. This is not normal what happened in Europe. In fact, this isn't even real. This is fictional from 2014, projecting a 2050 weather map of global warming. In 2050, they were saying, we may have temperatures this hot. Wouldn't that be terrible? Well, guess what? This is the actual map from this past week of France. And it exceeded the nightmare projection in 2014 that they were predicting for 2050. That's how hot it was. Now, when you see temperatures of 42, 43, that's Celsius. We're talking as hot as 112 degrees.
2050. 2030 is when, like, everything just, I don't know. There's something about prophecy that stopped at 2030. Now, they were rushing and running and working on a 2030 project, 2030 agenda. But I don't know. It's like these individuals are crazy. They are crazy, yo. I stay baffled, y'all.
The hottest temperature they've ever recorded in France that happened this past week. And now today, it's happened in Germany. Yesterday, the UK, and this upcoming week, we may not get that hot, but a small section right in through here from Washington, D.C. down to around Atlanta may test all-time record highs there as well, especially up around Washington, Philadelphia. It's not impossible because of a similar omega block. Another thing in the comments, you think omega block is a new term? It goes back decades and decades and decades. It looks like the Greek letter omega when the jet stream is in that pattern, and it kind of gets stuck there with a heat dome smack dab in the middle, and that's what's coming up.
Over 20,000 people gone from the heat wave going on in Europe in a very short period of time. 20,000 people. That's a lot of people dying because of how hot it is. Like, you can't do nothing about that. Like, you can't hide from the sun. The sun is pulling all of the water out these folks' body. and dehydrating them. They passing out or going to sleep and not waking up. Over 20,000 people. Like, what can you do about that? Nothing can be done. It's like the sun got a personal vendetta over them folks. What has Europe done to the sun? Man, whatever they done, man, it's time to repent. Or it might be too late, because obviously over 20,000 people gone to the sun. Over 20,000 people.
Scientists has warned of a possible extreme weather condition in 2026. A monster is forming in the Pacific Ocean, and the bad news is official. Scientists have confirmed that by November 2026, there are high chances that a super El Nino will fully develop. And here's how rare this is. In all of recorded history, this will be the strongest one in 150 years. Here's why it matters to every single person on Earth. El Nino is when the Pacific Ocean warms up beyond normal, but a super El Nino is something else entirely. It happens when ocean temperatures rise more than 2 degrees Celsius above average, and that tiny number is enough to bend the jet streams of the entire planet. And once those jet streams bend, the weather you know disappears. The result is that some parts of the world will face brutal droughts. Others will drown in record rainfall. Atlantic hurricanes will be suppressed, while Pacific storms will explode in size. And here's where it gets really serious. A super El Nino can push global temperatures even higher than they already are. Scientists has warned of a possible extreme weather condition in 20...
Here, imagine it. It's already crazy, yo. That's crazy. Stay home, y'all. Stay home. Don't go anywhere. Just stay good. Stay good. New York never stay good. That's like, right there. Stay home, Roger. Crazy word. Those eyes are big. Listen, y'all just seeing stuff that we ain't never see. The names don't even, like, you know, little places and little areas, various places. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna find out about. You gonna learn about. Child.
Meu Deus do céu.
Oh my goodness. Yesterday, if you are joining us from
Swallowed. It's giving swallowed.
what's your favorite place?
Non scenda neanche. Stai in modo, per avere tu qui. Un piano fuori dal Giorocco.
Oh my goodness. Yesterday, if you are joining us from New Jersey, it was the heavy rain, the strong storms that pounded parts of the Northeast as you look at Seagirth, New Jersey here. Look at the winds if you see Old Glory there in the background, right? At one point, we had more than 10 million people that were under flash flood warnings all at one time. It includes all 5 boroughs of New York City. Unfortunately, subways yesterday in New York City were inundated in spots as well. We had 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts that were reported. What you're looking at right now is estimated rain. This was just over the 24-hour period, most of this occurring in just a couple of hours. That's 2 to upwards of 3+ inches of rain that fell.
Now, to add insult to injury, more than 120 million Americans are still dealing with bad air quality, under air quality alerts because of that thick smoke blowing in from the wildfires through Canada. It's been days on. Hey, welcome back to Fox Weather. Take a look at this. Is that a Charlotte?
Do y'all think this shit is a game? I told y'all that this summer might be one of the hottest summers in human history. The NOAA already gave an official Super El Nino warning. And this ain't just for America. This is worldwide. And now you see what's happening in Europe. You got 1,000 people dead from a heat wave. Temperatures raising higher than they ever seen before. Mind you, they're not used to those type of weathers. They're used to everything being much cooler than it is right now. They're not even used to having air conditioners because it doesn't get that hot there. But you see what happened when the norm starts to shift? You got people fighting in Europe to get air conditioners. Do y'all think this shit is a game? I told y'all that this summer might be one of the hottest summers in human history. The NOAA already gave an official...
Right now, far beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, something enormous.
That's crazy, y'all. Tell me, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? And, yeah. Let's catch up with the war. The war that...
We begin with breaking news out of the Middle East. Just moments ago, U.S. Central Command announcing a new round of attacks on Iran. Military officials calling those attacks a punishment for Iran's attacks yesterday in Jordan that killed 2 U.S. service members and left a 3rd missing.
With today's casualties, now 16 Americans have been killed since the U.S. launched a war with Iran and more than 400 injured. Iran says it is suspending its commitments to the peace deal with the U.S., calling President Trump's signature, quote, utterly worthless and devoid of credibility. ABC's Stephen Portnoy starts us off from Washington.
This is a major escalation, the first U.S. combat deaths in the Iran war since its earliest weeks. U.S. Central Command says that...
Breaking news in the war with Iran. An American service member was killed in Iraq. This just a day after 2 others were killed in Iranian strikes in Jordan. The Department of Defense says the total number of Americans killed in the war is now 17. Both sides say the ceasefire is over. ABC's Marcus Moore reports.
The U.S. launching new strikes on Iran in retaliation for the drone and missile attack that killed 2 American service members and injured several others at a U.S. base in Jordan on Saturday. Video circulating online appears to show multiple projectiles at the moment the base was hit. President Trump reacting to the news, reportedly telling the New York Post, quote, "It's a shame, but in this case, they died because they don't want to see Iran have a nuclear weapon and don't want to see the Middle East blow up." CENTCOM announcing another U.S. service member was killed in northern Iraq Saturday during...
And don't forget, keep it in mind that American bases are in there. So they have no other choice but to fight or die. And some of them are going to die regardless, no matter what. Do you think that this war is worth it? They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Let's just point blank period. They don't care. What we feel, what we say, you know, they're going to do whatever they want to do. But the same sense, we have El Nino kicking off. We have a lot of stuff going on the planet. And then this war right here is crazy because we have China, but even China's underwater. So it's like, it's hard to even understand. It's like hard to explain sometimes because the power of God holding back, I would have to say, they're saying, Archangel Michael restraining the dragon. Man.
The controlled detonation of an unexploded ordnance from a downed Iranian drone. The administration saying this is a mission that will save millions of lives going forward.
The president's mission is essential for peace in the Middle East and peace in the world, and that is to prevent Iran from achieving nuclear weapons and to degrade their ability to terrorize their neighbors.
The International Atomic Energy Agency says it's looking into reports of an attack on the construction site of a planned nuclear power plant in Iran, but U.S. Central Command has not commented on the alleged overnight strike. Iran retaliating for these latest U.S. strikes targeting its neighbors, including Jordan, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Jordan's army saying in a statement Sunday, 3 missiles launched from Iran fell in several locations in the country. Democratic Senator Mark Warner calling the, quote, war of choice a disaster.
It has been a disaster militarily. It has been a disaster in terms of how we're viewed around the world. It has been a disaster to our friends and the allies who question whether we will keep our promises.
President Trump now looking to expand the Russian sanctions bill, writing on his social media account, quote, Republicans should add Iran to the bill.
And breaking news in the war with Iran, an American service member was killed in Iraq. This just a day after 2 others were killed in Iranian strikes in Jordan. The Department of Defense says the total number of Americans killed in the war is now 17. Both sides say
I think it's more. I would have to say it's more because I'm just seeing though, like, why would you, why they talk about invading Iran, and Iran's nuclear is on fire. All American bases are getting hit, bro. All American bases are getting hit. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy, and it is a psychopath move. But what can you expect when you have psychopaths running the world? Smooth killers, you know? Period.
Ceasefire is over. ABC's Marcus Moore reports.
The U.S. launching new strikes on Iran in retaliation for the drone and missile attack that killed 2 American service members and injured several others at a U.S. base in Jordan on Saturday. Video circulating online appears to show multiple projectiles and the moment the base was hit. President Trump reacting to the news, reportedly telling the New York Post, quote, "It's a shame, but in this case, they died because they don't want to see Iran have a nuclear weapon and don't want to see the Middle East blow up." CENTCOM announcing another U.S. service member was killed in northern Iraq Saturday during a controlled detonation of an unexploded ordnance from a downed Iranian drone. The administration saying this is a mission that will save millions of lives going forward.
The president's mission is essential for peace in the Middle East and peace in the world, and that is to prevent Iran from achieving nuclear weapons and to degrade their ability to terrorize their neighbors.
The International Atomic Energy Agency says it's looking into reports of an attack on the construction.
Their neighbors. Kuwait and all of them, that's where all American bases are. That's crazy. That's crazy work, y'all.
United States military commander has just told the entire world to be on high alert for a possible World War III. Look.
When I look around the globe, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and others are increasing their collaboration and their cooperation as their interests align against us. We see this clearly in Ukraine. While President Trump pushes for a peaceful resolution to a horrible war, China continues to fund Putin's war machine. Iran continues to supply technology and weapons. And North Korean combat troops remain in Russia on Ukraine's border. And of course, there's a confluence between Russia, Iran, and Venezuela and their dark fleet of oil tankers that is helping to fund the war. In the Arctic and the high north, we see a similar trend. Russian and Chinese vessels are conducting more and more joint patrols. Chinese icebreakers and research vessels are in Arctic waters, and their research is not for peaceful purposes. It's to gain a military advantage. Russia, meanwhile, continues testing advanced capabilities in the Barents Sea. As new shipping routes emerge and new resources are discovered, the Arctic only grows in strategic importance. And all of this comes in the midst of an increasing hybrid threat: airspace violations, GPS and GNSS interference, and the Shadow Fleet in the Baltic Sea threatening underwater infrastructure. In short, the Arctic and Northern Europe by extension has become a front line for strategic competition. Within NATO, Allied Command Operations, the command that SACEUR oversees, has taken steps to strengthen our deterrent posture, much of which is oriented in that northern region, here. Just over a year ago, we established Baltic Sentry, an activity to protect that critical underwater infrastructure. And this past fall, we developed Eastern Sentry to increase our agility and further integrate our air and missile defenses on the eastern flank. More recently, in just the past month, we've realigned the boundaries of our joint commands, and now Joint Force Command Norfolk brings together NATO's activities in the Arctic under one command, allowing us to better defend all allies in Europe, in the Arctic, and the strategic approaches to North America.
United States military commander has just told the entire world to be on high alert for a possible World War III. Look.
When I look around the globe, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and others are increasing their collaboration and their cooperation as
increasing their collaboration. Confirmation. And this is why I say, America, you gotta do what you gotta do for you in these latter days. When I say the government is half-time, time and a half, half-time, that's it, and that's all. I really mean that. I really mean that. Baby.
their interests align against us. We see this clearly in Ukraine. While President Trump pushes for a peaceful resolution to a horrible war, China continues to fund Putin's war machine. Iran continues to supply technology and weapons. And North Korean combat troops remain in Russia on Ukraine's border. And of course, there's a confluence between Russia, Iran, and Venezuela and their dark fleet of oil tankers that is helping to fund the war. In the Arctic and the high north, we see a similar trend. Russian and Chinese vessels are conducting more and more joint patrols. Chinese icebreakers and research vessels are in Arctic waters, and their research is not for peaceful purposes. It's to gain a military advantage. Russia, meanwhile, continues testing advanced capabilities in the Barents Sea. As new shipping routes emerge and new resources are discovered, the Arctic only grows in strategic importance. And all of this comes in the midst of an increasing hybrid threat: airspace violations, GPS and GNSS interference, and the Shadow Fleet in the Baltic Sea threatening underwater infrastructure. In short, the Arctic, and Northern Europe by extension, has become a front line for strategic competition. Within NATO, Allied Command Operations, the command that SACEUR oversees, has taken steps to strengthen our deterrent posture, much of which is oriented in that northern region, here. Just over a year ago, we established Baltic Sentry, an activity to protect that critical underwater infrastructure. And this past fall, we developed Eastern Sentry to increase our agility and further integrate our air and missile defenses on the eastern flank. More recently, in just the past month, we've realigned the boundaries of our joint commands, and now Joint Force Command Norfolk brings together NATO's activities in the Arctic under one command, allowing us to better defend all allies in Europe, in the Arctic, and the strategic approaches to North America.
United States.
An all-out war between Iran and the US is edging closer after both sides exchanged deadly strikes for an 8th consecutive day, with more destruction expected today. Tehran has reported an under-construction nuclear power plant was struck overnight, local officials claiming it posed no radiological risk. It comes after 2 US soldiers were killed in Jordan over the weekend, the interim peace deal now in tatters. An all-out war between Iran and the
All right, guys, very important update. We have a worldwide caution alert. We know the U.S. has confirmed that they are striking Iran right now for the 8th consecutive day. U.S. officials have said that these new strikes will be much more extensive and larger than previous nights, and to follow Trump's orders on opening the gates of hell on Iran. It's been reported today by several sources that Trump said that tonight they're going to open the gates of hell on Iran, which was reportedly in response to the strikes on Jordan last night, where Iran struck this base in Jordan, taking the lives of at least 2 U.S. service members. There's new footage about an hour ago of tanks being moved to southern Iran. The U.S. Department of State issued a worldwide caution alert, saying that due to heightened tensions in the Middle East, the security environment remains complex, with the potential of unforeseen escalations. The Department of State advises Americans worldwide, especially in the Middle East, to exercise increased caution. They also said groups supportive of Iran may target other U.S. interests overseas or locations associated with the United States and/or Americans throughout the world. I'll update you again tonight. Please stay safe. All right, guys, very important update.
Major escalation as Iran is actively planning and seriously considering a ground incursion into Kuwait to seize U.S. military bases. They then plan on taking 100 U.S. soldiers hostage before quickly transferring them to Iran if the United States continues its military campaign against Iran. The United States has informed Israel it plans to escalate military action against Iran in the coming days. Washington also warned that Iran could still drag Israel into the conflict by launching direct attacks on Israel territory. This is obviously a huge escalation in the war. If you want to stay updated every single day, hit that follow button. Major escalation as
Breaking tonight, Iranian state TV just issued a chilling broadcast. A great surprise will occur tonight, one that the world will remember for centuries. This is not a bluff. It's a warning, a threat, and even a promise. All eyes are now locked on Tehran. What could it be? A cyber attack, a missile strike, something nuclear? The world doesn't know, but Israel, the United States, and every single intelligence agency on the planet is watching. In the last 48 hours, over 200 Israeli warplanes have bombed Iran. Iran vowed revenge, and this might be it. Every time Iran says something like this, it's not for show. Remember, they struck U.S. bases in Iraq. They downed American drones. They nearly shut down global oil shipping in 2020. And now they're saying the whole world will remember tonight for centuries. Stay alert and watch the skies, because if the surprise lands tonight, it might already be too late for us. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and make sure you follow for more. Breaking tonight.
This is your World War III update. So before I talk about the assassination, I need to remind people that Article 4 was just invoked. It hasn't been invoked since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, and it is the prerequisite to Article 5, which is the activation of the Mutual Defense Pact, the security guarantees in which one country, if attacked, all other countries can come to their defense. Now, in the case of Russia and NATO, that of course has nuclear implications. The fact that Article 4, which is basically just one member convening a meeting if they feel their territorial integrity has been compromised as a prerequisite to Article 5, necessitates that Russia increase its nuclear readiness posture, because they must anticipate that Article 5 could be triggered as a result of Article 4 being triggered. This massive incursion of drones into Polish airspace is a major escalation in the war, and conveniently timed just one day after the mysterious doomsday radio in Russia was sending out highly suspicious coded messaging, encrypted messages, which were novel in that people hadn't heard these two phrases before. And of course, this is right on the heels of a meeting of the Prime Minister of Poland and Donald Trump, in which Donald Trump pledged to put more troops in Poland if necessary. Now, going to the assassination, I find it quite convenient that almost immediately attention is taken off of foreign policy issues of great significance like this one, with profound implications for the rest of the world. And I'm not saying the two things are connected necessarily. I think that there's so much calamity happening nowadays that to call anything a distraction is a bit of a cop-out. But what I will say is this. The only thing we can say with certainty right now, because at least at the time of making this video, the shooter is still at large, is that we know who benefits from this, right? I mean, that's the only thing you can deduce with 100% certainty is who benefits. You can't infer the motives of the shooter. You can try, but even if you do, you know, there's 1,000 conspiracies from Sunday that'll say it's MK Ultra and it's this and it's that. And so it's a never-ending rabbit hole of tribalism and hyper-polarized polemicism that I don't even care to go down, because it's a waste of time. And you're just playing into the madness as they want you to. What you really have to look at is the problem, reaction, solution model. Who stands to benefit from these most recent events?
Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Doherty, aka Joshua Lloyd Fox. Something happened today I've seen less than a handful of times in 30 years working for the Department of Defense. The State Department issued a worldwide red notice to all U.S. citizens around the world to come home, basically because of the growing tensions between the United States and Iran. Yesterday, President Trump ordered CENTCOM to open the gates of hell against Iran for the loss of 2 U.S. service members in missile strikes in Jordan. And this map, is being circulated in Israeli media right now. The first time I saw it was about 3 days ago. Ben Shapiro posted it, which I don't really believe anything out of him, but this is circulating right now, showing a massive ground invasion of Iran, where the United States' responsibility is along that southern coastline of the Persian Gulf, or the Gulf of Oman. And that's exactly where we have been pounding for about 2 weeks now. We've been pounding artillery shells in that area. I want you all to remember, I reported back in April and May that the 31st MEU, the 111th MEU, the 81st Airborne are all in theater. There's roughly 50,000 U.S. service members in the Middle East, most of them dedicated to ground invasion assaults. Marine Expeditionary Units, there's 2 of them over there, 5,000 Marines whose sole purpose is ground invasion, have been over there for 3 months training and getting ready for something. So apparently we're opening up the gates of hell, and the State Department issued a worldwide red notice today to all U.S. citizens around the world. I've only seen that like 5 times in 30.
Iran is at the point of no return. July 17, 2026, the U.S. State Department issued a travel advisory for Americans to increase caution. You can find that information. Just go to the website, usstatedepartment.gov. It's a worldwide cautionary statement on their official website, the U.S. State Department, warning Americans about travel, specifically in the areas where the Iran-U.S. war is going on, okay? Persian Gulf side, wherever. But it's a worldwide warning. With that, I'm pretty sure you've noticed the murals that Iran have erected in regards to Orange Man and his entire family. They have erected a lot of murals down there. You dig what I'm saying? And what I get a sense of with this is that Iran is at the point of no return. But Orange Man says he's going to keep hammering them.
I said that. I said, you know, when these countries are at the point to no return and they don't have nothing to lose, we will see. We will see. And the first thing they're going to do, I cannot stress this enough, get at the bases. America is fighting for their lives. Imagine if something happens where it affects the water and they can't get out. Bye-bye. No water. You're trapped. Think about that. Trump was supposed to evacuate when it was said to go. Take the bases. Relocate. At least. Don't sacrifice the people. We have some good soldiers. And I know, Trump, when you watch me, you get upset when I say this. And you try to challenge that. That's the crazy part. A black woman, a black American woman to be exact, and a black American man to be exact. If they're not telling you what to do, you're not going to survive. You challenge that. You went 1,000 races on the soldiers. You tried to divide the army. You didn't try, you did. I understand you cleaned up a lot of garbage, because there was a lot of people in there from different countries fighting the war just to be American. You want to be an American? Come fight this war. Come on. Join the army. Join the army. We'll pay you. Yeah. We'll pay you. What? So he caught himself cleaning that up. But firing generals and people, you know, and a lot of generals quitting. It's ridiculous. But now, Iran is at the point to no return, like he said, and they don't have nothing else to lose. Imagine if they do what I'm thinking. Oh my God. Imagine if they do what I'm thinking, and y'all have no other choice but to evacuate. You didn't want to evacuate when you had the chance to take the equipment, you know, just to play it safe, you know, relocate. But see, y'all been in these bases for so long. And now, you're being forced. Your bases was everywhere to protect America. And I get it. But now what? See, y'all played this whole game wrong when it came to listening to BB. You was not supposed to listen to BB. You're never supposed to listen to BB. As a matter of fact, I think if they did have a nuke, trust me, right there, they would have been wiped out. But they're not going to do it because the radiation would also affect them. Let's be clear. Now, I think what they getting ready to do is rain down on y'all the closest thing to a nuke, but not the nuke, if you get my drift. And then when y'all are all dying all over the place, they'll just come and take the equipment. They'll just, listen to me, they will just come and take the equipment. What the hell is wrong with you, Trump? You got me twisted. Eventually, how you think this thing is going to end? You get on here instead of, and then the
Hello,
peace
everybody.
talks,
This is
the peace
Joshua
talks,
Doherty.
no matter how many peace talks you have, if you don't put Benjamin Netanyahu under the order of, I don't know what, he would destroy.
Iran is
So the United States military
would destroy America's army. Okay, that's it. And that's all.
just basically got on this motherfucker and told us to get ready for World War III. But this ain't really the bad part. The bad part is who we fighting. Cause we not just fighting one country. Nah, he ain't say we just gonna go to war against one country. Motherfucker, this man said that all the countries are teaming up. They finna have a fire starting lineup. I know we got good military, but against China, Russia, Iran, Venezuela, all them motherfuckers team up. You know what? Beans and toast actually don't sound that bad. I don't hear shit going on in the UK. You know what? I'm on the way. So the United States military just basically got on this motherfucker and told us to get ready for World War III. But this ain't really the bad part. The bad part is who we fight.
The United States State Department is issuing Americans across the world to exercise increased caution. It comes as the war in Iran is escalating. Channel 14 is reporting Trump has ordered a central command to, quote, open the gates of hell on Iran. The State Department is urgently warning Americans across the globe that Iran may target U.S. interests or locations associated with Americans over.
And the thing is, y'all try to take a lot of those countries, and y'all had to pull out. The Vietnam War, how many wars y'all failed? You had to pull out. You had to stop. You had to cease war. You had to throw in the white flag because you could not beat them. You couldn't take their land. You just couldn't do it. Same thing in North Korea. You just couldn't do it. Now, before China will come here, we already know China is just going to do what they do. They're going to just take Taiwan, swipe Japan, and all that. Like, they have a plan to take their shit back. That simple. They just have a plan to take their shit back, and that's simple. That's it, and that's all.
Overseas, and says that travel disruptions, including flight cancellations and airport closures, are possible. This is a worldwide alert, and it comes as the war in Iran is rapidly escalating.
The entire internet is being flooded with Republican influencers right now saying they're confused. Why? Because the United States apparently has the most powerful military on earth. We bombed the hell out of Iran for 4 months. Trump says their Air Force, Navy, and nearly all of their missile capabilities are destroyed. So how is Iran so capable of hitting U.S. missiles right now? Now, that's actually a very good question. Matt Van Swoll is a conservative influencer who aligns very closely with the White House, very closely with MAGA. And while this is the prevailing sentiment in Republican circles today after 2 American service members passed away in Jordan over the past...
If somebody will make a move on America, who would it be first? Who's the closest? And that's why they got Maduro ass up out of there. You feel me? And what you gonna do with Venezuela stuff when America got it? Whatever. I mean, like, come on now. We have to keep it a buck. We have to be realistic. Also, I think that they're gonna fight till they can't fight no more. But here's the deal: What if bombs do come in the middle of the night? What are you gonna do? What if bombs come on in, flying in the night sky? You be like, it is July, but not the 4th of July. You feel me? It's the 4th of July, but not the, Come on now. Come on now, y'all. What are we even talking about? I'm getting hungry because I'm gonna live every day like my last day. I feel like making me some hamburgers. I just made me some shrimp. I made me a shrimp big roly taco. And oh man, that was so good. So good. I want to make me another one. I really do. Oh my God. The sauce. I made the sauce. Puerto Ricans, how we take the mayonnaise and the ketchup and we mix it. Threw some pineapples in there. Oh my God. With some lettuce, some what else was lettuce, onions. Damn. And of course I fried the garlic, really good. You know what I'm saying? Just really good. I want another
The
one.
United States has issued worldwide caution for Americans due to heightened tensions in the Middle East. Situation complex with potential for unforeseen escalation.
The United States cannot win a war with Iran, which, if you didn't know, 17 U.S. service members have already been killed. Both sides know this, specifically because of the arsenal that Iran has, such as...
See, they just gonna have to crawl like little dogs, roll over, and go get the major players. And you already know, like, y'all did too much. Y'all did too much when it came to the army. And you know what? Now you gotta fight that shit by yourselves. You can't make nobody draft nothing. Them days is over, baby. And it's a shame. And anybody that's still going, look, I had a nephew. He was fascinated with guns ever since he was a little kid. Okay? And, so he decided to go to the army. Eventually, he wound up going to the army, okay? So he goes to the army. And he gets in there. He does his time. And he was a different person. A whole different person. Because when you go in there, you thought what? You come out of there, you do your time, and you don't want to go back. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people that have been lied to. They come out, and they go through this PTSD stuff, et cetera, especially with the kids in Gaza or in Iraq and Syria, wherever they was, man. Like, come on now. These people still got their countries. Vietnam still got their country. They be going in there, and then they gotta, you know what I'm saying? They don't really get nothing out of it. And the settlers that are gaining off of that, you know who's gaining off of this war? The settlers that are still in their land. Think about it, y'all. Think about it. How they feel about our army people. The army. American army. Oh, yeah, you got to get rid of them children and the babies and the mothers, all that. The women. That's the war. Come on now. Everyday civilians. People's children. I will not stop talking about this. Okay. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And karma has yet to come to America like nobody's business.
the Shahab 3, which is capable of striking targets 1,200 to 2,000 kilometers away. These missiles have two variants, by the way, which replace steel with lighter material, and as you can see, introduce baby bottle-shaped nose cones for higher re-entry velocity. Also, the Khorramshahr 4, which you have already seen on display. These have an estimated range of 2,000 kilometers and can carry a massive warhead. That warhead weighing up to 1,500 to 1,800 kilograms, by the way. Then you also have Iran's advanced stealth and maneuverability, which include the Fatah missiles. These missiles not only travel up to speeds of Mach 15, also utilize high maneuverability maneuverable flight paths, specifically designed to evade modern air defense systems. Not only that, but they are surrounded by formidable natural barriers such as these Zagros Mountains. These mountains create a 900-mile mountain wall. Territory would require an occupying ground force of millions, which is why they're obviously trying to influence the other Gulf states to intervene. Why I highly encourage you not to support another useless war, which will only result in more innocent lives being lost, all because of nuclear weapons, right? It's so much bigger than that, but so many people just love to feed into Western propaganda. But hey, who doesn't love higher gas prices and not listening to what people like Jay?
So the United States did something pretty dark with Iran today. And I understand this is war and this is the kind of thing that happens, but it does open up a whole potential tragedy nonetheless. Bandar Abbas is one of Iran's main port cities. It handles the vast majority of Iran's shipping containers, most of its imports. So this port sustains the lives of 90 million Iranian people. And the United States just destroyed a series of bridges connecting Bandar Abbas to the rest of the country. And like I said, I get it. This is war. And when you are going to war with a country, you do attack the infrastructure that the military uses. But this also is just what the rest of the country uses. This isn't taking out Iran's nuclear program. It isn't taking out Iran's ballistic missile program or hitting a drone factory. Most of the Iranian population.
This is crazy.
Hey guys, there's a lot of information right now pointing towards that this conflict will escalate very heavily in the next few days. Here's what we know. So the U.S. is preparing to significantly expand their forces in Iran. The U.S. is flooding this country with dozens of additional refueling tankers, turning this airport into a forward base to expand attacks on Iran. A move Tehran has warned will make this country a direct target. And remember, already 30 of these refueling tankers are stationed here, and the U.S. is adding dozens. And remember how the U.S. definitely didn't strike some bridges yesterday in Bandar Abbas? The total is definitely not 7 now, effectively partially isolating the city now. Kuwait has reported that Iran has struck a power and water desalination plant. The U.S. announced that they fully destroyed the Chabahar port surveillance and control tower in southeastern Iran. U.S. Central Command have confirmed that they are striking Iran for the 7th consecutive day. This senior Iranian official has publicly announced that if the U.S. continues their strikes for another 2 to 3 days, Iran will embark on total offensive and destruction. And remember that President Trump announced that the U.S. will be hitting Iran harder next week and hitting their power infrastructure. So I'll update you again tonight. The U.S. is striking Iran right now. Stay safe, stay prepared. I appreciate you.
All right, so a lot developing on the United States and Iran potentially going to war here very soon. Today, February the 1st, 2026. Take a look at the latest headlines coming out with me. Khamenei warns the U.S. of regional war if Iran is attacked. Now, this...
Overnight, the U.S. carried out its 7th consecutive night of strikes on Iran since President Donald Trump declared the temporary ceasefire agreement over last week. U.S. Central Command saying forces hit surveillance sites, military logistics infrastructure, underground weapons storage, and maritime capabilities. In turn, Iran has been targeting U.S. allies in the region, including Kuwait. The conflict causing the price of oil to rise close to its highest level in a month. Overnight, the U.S. carried out its 7th consecutive night of strikes on Iran since President Donald Trump declared the temporary ceasefire agreement over last week. U.S. Central Command saying forces hit surveillance sites, military logistics infrastructure, underground weapons storage, and maritime capabilities. In turn, Iran has been targeting U.S. allies in the region, including Kuwait. The conflict causing the price of oil to rise close to its highest level in a month. Overnight, the U.S. carried out its 7th consecutive night of
barrel.
We are hearing reports now of fresh explosions as U.S. Central Command says it has launched a new wave of strikes as of 6 a.m. This is the language CENTCOM is using. The strikes are designed to further degrade military capabilities Iranian forces have used to attack commercial shipping. Axios now reporting, citing 3 sources with no...
The Ukraine war has taken Russian citizens into unfamiliar territory.
Another crazy ass madman.
Last week, Ukraine unleashed an unprecedented attack against Moscow.
Work, y'all.
Residents saw drones racing over their heads.
In 2010, this man stated publicly he had attended a strictly confidential 2005 meeting held in the city of London, which detailed plans to start World War III, which would begin with Israel attacking Iran. Look.
They're talking about the fact that Israel didn't look as if it was getting prepared to attack Iran anytime soon. This was a problem. Even back in June 2005, they were apparently concerned that what it was that was planned on some kind of a timeline wasn't rolling out according to schedule. They were in a hurry, and this is important to understand, they were in a rush to try and roll out this sequence of events. Now, what he described is what the sequence of events was. It starts with Israel attacking Iran. The plan is for either Iran or for China to retaliate after Iran is struck with a nuclear weapon. At that point, there will be a limited nuclear exchange in the Middle East, followed by a ceasefire. He heard this being planned in this meeting. This is being choreographed. It's like the script for a movie. This is exactly what's intended to happen. In this rollout of this crazy scenario where it is intended that there will be a limited nuclear exchange in the Middle East, the idea is that as the world looks upon this with horror,
Here's everything that happened in America in the last 12 hours. 2 U.S. service members were killed and 1 remains missing after Iranian ballistic missiles struck the Muwafaq Salti air base in Jordan, bringing America's total Iran war death toll to 16 and marking the first combat fatalities since hostilities resumed in June. The U.S. military launched its 8th consecutive night of strikes against Iran in retaliation for the Jordan attack, targeting IRGC forces and military.
Trump don't listen. He is gone up here, and he needs. It's just too late. At this point, it's too late. It's too late, y'all. It's too late. Let's just hope the skies don't be lighting up in America. That's just, the latest for your Sunday night evening news, what have you. We're not playing. We're not playing at all. This is really happening, and you need to be aware of the next things that are going to be taking place, and I hope and pray that they don't. But because it's so imminent, it is so imminent that they would try. If they can get their hands on American equipment, let's say America got a lot of work. America got a lot of work because they fighters too. They have some shit. Then we have to deal with China, Russia, and all the allies that they all have. Okay? Who said they was fighting? And now we have Africa joining Iran wars. Stay tuned for that. Let me see. Actually, let me look that up. Let me see. Which country was that had joined? So anyway, period, point blank, Africa joins Iran. I'm trying to find out let me see which country it was out of Africa, because I'm almost sure. I don't think they all. Let me go here. Let me see if whatever comes up on the timelines is just given before I log off.
So Area 51 and the Grand Canyon, both
Celestra, what she was saying?
were lit on fire. They said it was.
Yeah, that's lit on fire. Let me see. So let's go to that timeline. I have to talk about that timeline as well, because I want y'all to see something. This right here, little message, is going to be like the missing puzzle.
Less than 24 hours after Israel attacked Iran, Iran responded with over 200 ballistic missiles and 200 drones. Less than 24 hours after Israel attacked,
Iran has signed a strategic military alliance with at least 12 African countries. The tables are turning. The tables are turning. I'm telling you, in front of our very own eyes, the tables are turning. So African countries are turning to other places. It seems like the U.S. it's got its hands in too many pies. And the U.S. was obviously all over Africa. They've got quite a few military bases all over Africa. And African countries are saying that Donald Trump has been behaving in a very erratic behavior. And therefore, Iran seems to be stepping in to the void that is being left by the United States in Africa. So they have signed a military alliance and a pact with at least 12 African countries. And it seems that this could only increase. And some of those countries include countries like South Africa.
That's crazy work, y'all.
Iran has signed a strategic military.
Y'all gonna see Africa real quick. Okay? Y'all gonna see.
This is not a story. Breaking news. The Burkina Faso military junta, Ibrahim Traoré, has reportedly vowed to send troops to assist Iran if Tehran ever needed ground forces. In a bold and fiery message, Traoré declared that the days of the United States acting with impunity are over.
Breaking news, Iran is about to drag Zimbabwe into this tension that is going on between them, US and Israel. Now, from the information that I'm getting from a reliable source, Iran is using their embassy in Zimbabwe to respond to Trump. Now, the embassy that they have in Zimbabwe, they're using it indirectly to respond to Trump. And this is about to magnet Zimbabwe, a country in Africa, to this unfortunate tension that is going on or has been going on between Iran, US, and Israel. Now, this information came from a reliable source, and I wish that the president of Zimbabwe will come forth and declare his non-involvement, whether by through negotiation.
The African influence in Iran is most noticeable when it comes to music and food. And this is a pattern that you'll see whenever you have African people in a particular location. They definitely always have a strong influence when it comes to music. And the local people of that nation will usually adapt that music, and they'll start doing the music. Sometimes they...
Iran, I beg, is only Uganda in the whole Africa. Is only Uganda that is threatening you people. Uganda military chief said that he will capture the whole of Tehran within 1 day, within a minute. So it's only Uganda in Africa. Check the location very well. Check the map very well. Bomba. It's only Uganda.
Breaking news, Iran is yet to make history across the continent of Africa. Turning out they are yet to make a nuclear power plant deal with South Africa. And it's turning out that this particular nuclear deal aims to add 2,500 megawatts of capacity if it will be well finalized. And this will be the first Iran international nuclear power plant project in history. Turning out that South Africa and Iran has been in good terms since the reign of Nelson Mandela. Just for context, Iran had given South Africa a free passage through the Straits of Hormuz amid the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, United States, Israel versus Iran.
Now watch out, see.
Despite decades of aggressive diplomatic and economic initiatives on the continent, African countries are resisting involvement in the Iranian conflict. My name is Ebenezer Badari. I'm Douglas Dillon Senior Fellow for Africa Studies here at the Council on Foreign Relations. Iran wanted to extend its power in Africa. It wanted to cultivate new allies. Given the quality and the length of diplomatic and economic engagement that Iran has had with African countries, the response has been, to say the least, unexpected. The greatest surprise has been the muted response from South Africa. One would have expected it to do more for the Iranian regime, given the strength of the military and economic ties between the two, and the fact that, in terms of ideology, both have been relatively anti-Western for some time. There are three reasons why African countries are being very careful. One, they are wary of being on the wrong side of the United States. Two, they have economic ties with other Gulf countries, and they would rather not want those ties jeopardized. Three, many African countries have had bad experiences with the Iranian regime in the past due to their religious differences. Despite the measured condemnation, there were pockets of support in other parts of Africa. In Nigeria, for instance, there were pro-Iran demonstrations in the northern and the southern regions of the country. What happens next is going to depend on the state in which Iran emerges from the war. If Iran emerges completely devastated due to bombings by the United States and Israel, it's unlikely to have the financial muscle to play the diplomatic and military role it's been playing in Africa for the past 3 decades. Despite decades of aggressive diplomatic and economic initiatives on the continent, African countries are resisting involvement in the Iranian conflict. My name is Ebenezer Badari. I'm Douglas Dillon Senior Fellow for Africa Studies here at the Council on Foreign Relations. Iran wanted to extend its power in Africa. It wanted to cultivate new allies. Given the quality and the length of diplomatic and economic engagement that Iran has had with African countries, the response has been, to say the least, unexpected. The greatest surprise has been the muted response from South Africa. One would have expected it to do more for the Iranian regime, given the strength of the military and economic ties between the two, and the fact that, in terms of ideology, both have been relatively anti-Western for some time. There are three reasons why African countries are being very careful. One, they are wary of being on the wrong side of the United States. Two, they have economic ties with other Gulf countries, and they would rather not want those ties jeopardized. Three, many African countries have had bad experiences with the Iranian regime in the past due to their religious differences. Despite the measured condemnation, there were pockets of support in other parts of Africa. In Nigeria, for instance, there were pro-Iran demonstrations in the northern and the southern regions of the country. What happens next is going to depend on the state in which Iran emerges from the war. If Iran emerges completely devastated due to bombings by the United States and Israel, it's unlikely to have the financial muscle to play the diplomatic and military role it's been playing in Africa for the past 3 decades. Despite decades of aggressive diplomatic and economic initiatives on the continent, African countries are resisting involvement in the Iranian conflict. My name is Ebenezer Badari. I'm Douglas Dillon Senior Fellow for Africa Studies here at the Council on Foreign Relations. Iran wanted to extend its power in Africa. It wanted to cultivate new allies. Given the quality and the length of diplomatic and economic engagement that Iran has had with African countries, the response has been, to say the least, unexpected. The greatest surprise has been the muted response from South Africa. One would have expected it to do more for the Iranian regime, given the strength of the military and economic ties between the two, and the fact that, in terms of ideology, both have been relatively anti-Western for some time. There are three reasons why African countries have been very careful.
Breaking news, Iran has officially opened the Strait of Hormuz to South Africa. This is the only African country which can pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is saying that they have very strong ties with South Africa and they want to keep it like that. They are saying that they are cooperating with South Africa to ensure that all South African cargo and oil tankers, they have safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. So it seems like all friends of Iran, they are able to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, and also the BRICS partners, because just yesterday, 2 Indian
He expressed Iran's willingness to share its experiences and achievements with friendly African countries. Rwanda reciprocated the interest, expressing a desire to enhance bilateral relations with Iran. This aligns with Iran's broader efforts to strengthen ties across the African continent, seeking to alleviate its isolation and counter the impact of crippling sanctions imposed since the United States withdrew from the nuclear deal in 2018. At present, Niger has been hit hard by sanctions imposed by the ECOWAS in the Western countries. Iran can be a valuable ally, offering insights on how Niger can exploit its natural resources and continue to grow. That's what Iran did in the past. Despite sanctions, it established a market and sold its oil to other countries. That's how Russia started crushing Western sanctions and continued selling its oil to India, China, and various others. Put simply, Iran has vast experience of surviving and growing under a sanctioned atmosphere. Numerous countries, with the United States in a prominent role alongside international entities, have imposed a series of sanctions on Iran. Up until Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, Iran held the unenviable position of being the most heavily sanctioned country globally. The initial wave of sanctions by the United States traces back to November 1979, triggered by the radical students' seizure of the American embassy in Tehran. Although temporarily lifted in January 1981 following the release of hostages, the U.S. reinstated them in 1987 in response to Iran's actions in the Persian Gulf against the U.S. and other nations. These sanctions expanded in 1995 to include firms associated with the Iranian government. In December 2006, the third set of sanctions was imposed due to Iran's non-compliance with United Nations Security Council Resolution 1696, which demanded a halt to its uranium enrichment program. Initially targeting investments in oil, gas, and petrochemicals, these sanctions broadened to encompass various sectors such as banking, insurance, shipping, and web hosting services. Over the years, these sanctions have had a profound impact on Iran's economy and its populace. The U.S. has played a leading role in international endeavors to employ sanctions as a means to influence Iran's policies, especially concerning its uranium enrichment program. Iran contends that its nuclear activities are strictly for peaceful purposes. Nuclear negotiations between Iran and Western governments led to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action in 2015, outlining a framework to lift most sanctions in exchange for restrictions on Iran's nuclear program. The final agreement was adopted in October 2015, resulting in the removal of UN sanctions in January 2016. However, in 2018, the U.S. withdrew from the JCPOA, reinstating sanctions in November 2018 and expanding them in 2019 and 2020, with a particular focus on Iran's financial sector. Later, on February 24, 2020, Iran found itself on the FATF blacklist. Apart from teaching about dodging sanctions, Iran can be a robust ally.
Yo, oh God, like I'm done with the news. Look what I made. A nice taco with just a big taco, right? And I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna roll it like that. Roll it like that. And that's it, and that's all. Ciao. Look. Stop playing. Stop playing with me, y'all. And that's it, and that's all. And I just close it up. Y'all. I'm living every day like it's my last day. Period. It's so good. Good night, y'all. Thank you for tuning in with me. Those who are to come later to tune in with me. Thank you. And I do this for y'all. I give it to y'all raw. Pretty much. Thank you. Good night and love the video. Share the video. Share the information. It's really urgent. Ciao. Good night. Love, peace, and hair grease.